fours. It's like we never left. Today we are going to continue with our next lesson about the arrival of the British. So it's kind of the same time frame, but you have to think that while the British were already there, the French were coming in too. So I'm just going to get right into our notes, and then there's going to be some videos for you to watch. I hope you liked the ones last time. So screen share, here we go. Arrival of the British. So again, I'd like you to use your highlighter to highlight important things as we go, because at the end you are going to be asked to once again write down some facts that you remember. So we go back in time to 1497. So take note that the French didn't come until 1534. So that's almost 40 years after the British came. So the British were the keeners, they got there first. That's going to be important later. In 1497, John Cabot sighted land in what was believed to be Newfoundland. Get it? Newfoundland. I found land. Newfoundland. One of the first land sightings in Canada on record, besides exploration done by Vikings hundreds of years before. So hundreds and hundreds of years before this, the Vikings came, they found Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, and I honestly, I'm not going to be honest with you, I don't know that much about them being in Canada, but because I studied Canadian or English history. So just know that there were Vikings before them, but that was hundreds of years before John Cabot got to Canada. Actually, I think it's John Cabot. I could be wrong. When you watch the videos, it'll tell you how to say it. Let me know. So the next known British expedition was carried out by Martin Frobisher. He had set out in search of the Northwest Passage, aka a sea route through North America that would lead to Asia. So we're back in, they are trying to figure out how to get, because remember, England is way over here. They're taking boats this way. They want to bypass Canada and get to Asia, which is over here. So that was his goal. That was Martin Frobisher's goal. In 1576, so that's close to 100 years, probably around 80 or 90 years after John Cabot found Canada, he claimed Baffin Island, Resolution Island, and later on Frobisher Bay, the inlet on Baffin Island where Iqaluit is situated. He was also the first to sail into what would later be known as the Hudson Strait. So he ended up here. This is Iqaluit. I don't always say that one right either. And Frobisher Bay is somewhere around here as well. And he did find the Hudson Strait. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure totally where it is, but it's one of these areas that would lead into the Hudson Bay, sorry. So that's Martin Frobisher. Sorry, I have not been telling you what to highlight, but I would highlight that he was trying to find the Northwest Passage. And then I would highlight Baffin Island, Resolution Island, and Frobisher Bay, and then highlight this whole sentence about the Hudson Strait. And then I would highlight John Cabot, Newfoundland. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Next, we get to Henry Hudson. So this is the French are already here. Before they weren't. In here they were, and they're still in Canada, but this is happening at the same time. Henry Hudson was another British explorer who attempted to find the Northwest Passage between 1607 and 1611. So these guys really wanted to figure out how to get to Asia faster, and they're not doing the best job because they keep getting stuck in Canada. Most notable of his voyages was his last voyage between 1610 and 1611, where he traveled through the Hudson Strait, so the strait that Martin Frobisher found. In the process, he discovered what would later become Hudson Bay, which was super important because it was vital for the fur trade later on. So this is a pretty big find, and that's why it got named after him. He went as far south as James Bay, and in 1611, a mutiny left Henry Hudson, his son, and 7 other crew members stranded aboard a small boat where they all passed away. Later on, the Hudson's Bay Company was named in his honor. So he had a pretty tragic life at the end. Mutiny means, so he was on a boat and he wanted to do something, but the rest of the Crew said no thanks, and they said you're out, left him on a boat with his son and 7 other people, and they drove off, leaving him there. And it was cold, I believe. But later on, lucky him, the Hudson Bay was named for him. Next, we have Henry Kelsey, not to be mistaken with me or Henry Hudson or my nephew Hudson. Anyway, Henry Kelsey became the first inland explorer for the Hudson's Bay Company, founded in 1610. So when they say inland explorer, it means people getting off the coast, going into the land. He traveled the Churchill River, and in some point between 1690 and 1692 became the first explorer to sight the prairies. So even though, remember, Fort Rogue or Rouge was discovered and created by the French in 1738. Henry Kelsey, went into the prairies before that. So about 30 years before that. So the British won, they got in there first. Henry Kelsey later became, oh, I said this, oh no, I didn't. Henry Kelsey later became the first known explorer, European explorer, to set foot in what is present-day Saskatchewan. So the French only made it to Winnipeg, English got to Saskatchewan. So this is where the French are, and Henry Kelsey made it to Saskatoon. Or not Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Saskatoon wasn't a thing yet. On this page, now we have another guy. His name is Anthony Henday. He is widely regarded as the first noted European to discover what is now Alberta. So here we finally made it to Alberta. Anthony Henday found Alberta. As a worker for the HBC, the Hudson's Bay Company, Anthony Henday's explorations were funded by the company to expand their trade networks with the First Nations in the far west of Rupert's Land. So remember, Rupert's Land was all the land around Hudson's Bay. He departed inland from the York factory in 1754 and traveled with a group of Plains Cree people. Remember, the Cree are in Alberta and our land, so they started to trade with them and travel with them and learn from them. Late in 1754, it is believed that Anthony Henday explored the plains around present-day Red Deer and Innisfil, so kind of right around where we are, and spent the majority of the winter camped with the First Nations people. The First Nations people, if I were new to Canada and I had to try to stay warm, I would want to find the First Nations people because they know their stuff. They know all about the land. On their return journey to York Factory, Henday followed the North Saskatchewan River, where it met with the Sturgeon River back towards York Factory. This trip would have brought him very close to present-day Edmonton. There we go. We found Alberta. The next person to come on over, the next person who was important, I guess, was Alexander Mackenzie. He was a Scottish explorer. At this time, England owned Scotland, so he would have been an English explorer, who was instrumental, very important in setting up Fort Chipewyan in 1788 for the Northwest Company. Fort Chipewyan is one of the oldest settlements in Alberta, and to this day, it exists as a hamlet in the southeast shores of Lake Athabasca. Alexander Mackenzie would later become the first explorer to cross North America to the Pacific Ocean. I have done a terrible job of asking you to highlight, so go back, or if you've been highlighting all through, thank you. I hope that you found some important information. So there was a lot of people in there. You learned a lot of stuff. So try to write, you got a lot less space here, but try to write a little bit about each person and make sure you write something about how they found Alberta, how they found the Hudson's Bay Company, how they found Hudson's Bay, and all that good stuff that we just learned. Once you are done, there are a couple videos about these explorers for you to watch in the Google Classroom. Please watch them, add any information you want on there. And that's the end of the video. Next time, we are going to learn about the routes of exploration, how people got from the East Coast into Alberta, and you are actually going to get to make your own little route. You're going to get to make your own map of how you would have got to Alberta. So I'm really hoping you're finding this interesting. If not, sorry. We're only gonna do more fun stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time when you get to make your own trade route. Have a good day. Bye.